So I don't know if you've heard the phrase by Nietzsche, which is Amor Fati, which is a Latin phrase which basically means a love of fate, or essentially loving everything that arises, knowing that everything works together for our good, and even circumstances that may outwardly appear to look negative or that may be challenging from an external perspective, contain seeds of gold, basically, and that everything is working together for your good. Amor Fati means basically love whatever happens. So every event, so even if you're going through something, is part of the greater whole because everything is connected. And I wanted to speak on my own personal experience, really, of how I've started to do this more and more, which is essentially, it's come up when I've had health challenges recently and I've had to be back in bed, and I first obviously felt the emotions because sometimes these things come up and they're not what we plan for. And perhaps we can't do the things that we wanted to do, or maybe we can't go and see someone, or maybe there's something we're really looking forward to, maybe we can't exercise, whatever it is. Acknowledging those feelings about it, but then actively saying, well, what can I do here? And maybe that's just rest. Maybe that's just being with yourself. Maybe that's you'll end up, resting, laying in bed. And this has happened to me before, laying in bed, scrolling, going on TikTok or wherever, finding a piece of content or finding somebody online that has really changed the trajectory of my life or my thinking, or just added another piece to the wisdom and part of my journey, which I'm so grateful for. And it's also kind of giving you the opportunity to, detach from labelling your circumstances. That's what I would say, is don't condition your circumstances. And what's been the most challenging for me when I've had these health relapses with my spine is other people's reactions. I've kind of been able now to let go of so many things, people's expectations, my own expectations, and because it's happened a few times, it's got easier and easier to deal with, and I've got stronger as a result in sort of letting things unfold. But sometimes it's challenging when other people are like, oh, that's so bad, or that's so, so challenging. But the truth is, if you have a peaceful mind in circumstances and you don't meet what looks like difficult or challenging circumstances with resistance, you have a much easier time. And when you maintain that peaceful, calm mind, and when you maintain the belief that everything is working out for your good, then your mind is able to focus on different things, solutions, maybe explore things that you hadn't been thinking about. Maybe it sends you in a different direction. For example, it's allowed me the time and space to plan a few things. And it's also allowed me the time and space to be a little bit more in touch with my soul, deeper part of myself. And I think that's really key. To kind of see these things as spiritual lessons, really, because we can grow through joy and we can also grow through suffering or things not looking great, but count it all as joy. Count it all as joy, I would say. When we see it raining outside, do we say that that's bad? Is it bad, or is it just rain? We might prefer the sunshine, but sometimes it's also good, if we've had a lot of sunshine in our life, to have rain as well, to enjoy all the different seasons. And when you sort of are able to reframe situations in that way, you can start to develop that Amor Fati, because you can start to say, well, how can I love where I am now? How can I love where I am now? And I had a big test of this 3 years ago, when I had a myocarditis. And I wasn't sure, I'd been told I had a heart attack, but I wasn't sure it was definitely that. But I had all the signs of it. I had a scan and got discharged, went home. And then I was waiting. I was waiting on the consultant's answers, basically. And my mind could have gone into fear and panic, but I was just like, no, I'm at home now. I'm nice and cosy. I'm just going to really take this time to enjoy. I don't have to work. I'm just going to do everything that I love to do, which is listen and read and consume lots of, cool information, and just sort of, go into that place in my mind, and sort of detach, I suppose, from my circumstances, rather than getting emotionally too swept up in what was going on, because things are the way they are, right, sometimes, and we can, like I said before, we can only really get solutions when our mind is more peaceful. So I really focused on that feeling of all is well, and it was, in the end. It was something that, resolved itself naturally, and my heart was fine. However, it was a big spiritual lesson. And when you go through these things, if you can meet your life in that sort of way, you find yourself to be much stronger as a result. So Amor Fati gives you, what is it like? It's like a spiritual armour, I suppose, for facing anything. Because if you're loving everything, even the really difficult things, and then when you get through that difficult challenge or phase of your life, the growth you have is exponential, and your emotional regulation is exponential. And then if, someone cuts you up in traffic, or, someone ignores a text or whatever, some little things that then arise after that are just, they just don't even really, you're okay. You're sort of, able to navigate other circumstances a lot more easier. And recently, when I tried to go out for a walk, but it was a little bit challenging, I was walking really slowly, and I was walking down a really beautiful forest path next to my home, which is tree lined, and it was golden hour, which is my favourite hour. And the light was streaming through the trees, and whenever I see anything beautiful like that in nature, I always get out my phone and start filming for TikTok. Everything I put on TikTok is my own footage. And I just I thought, this is so beautiful. And as I was experiencing that sensation of looking at the light streaming through the trees, it seemed even more beautiful because of the speed I was going. So I was walking really slowly, so the beauty was even more palpable to me. Now, when we're just normally doing our day-to-day life, we're walking around, we're getting in the car, we're going to the shop, we might obviously pass by a really pretty scenery or look at the sunset and things like that, but when you're forced to slow down so much, that's one of the gifts. And I guess that's what I mean by Amor Fati. That's an example from my own experience of Amor Fati, of seeing things in that way, of sort of saying, okay, well, the higher part of my awareness has chosen this experience. I'm going to look for the gold. I'm going to love this experience as much as I can. And I'm going to find more things to love in this, even if it's challenging. And we're not acknowledging, we're not bypassing it, we're not disregarding that it's not challenging. Two things can be true at once, right? You can feel that something is challenging while simultaneously appreciating all the beautiful things about it. So yeah, I hope this has helped, and if you have any experiences of Amor Fati or how you have applied it in your own life, please comment and I'd love to hear.